the hell is going on? It is not because my green screen's not working. There we go. All right, that's better. It might look a little bit shitty. Well, you can still see the shitty stuff behind me. A little bit. Try to make this look semi-professional. What is up? Welcome to Locked into Lunacy. This is episode 14. This is called She's Alright Cocaine because we got a new JCW champion. And I'm pretty sure you guys all know who it is. Man, we're going to get into my thoughts of Cocaine as the JCW champion. But let's kick off this review. And we'll see who we get in the chat. So we start off the night by Violent J arriving, getting out of his car, and being greeted by the Brothers of Funstruction and Too Tough Tony, as well as Willie Mack, and they're chanting JCW. They're super happy because of his big win over Vito, making him the 50% co-owner of JCW. Now, walking up to him now is the other co-owner, Vince Russo, comes up to him and he says they're ready to go to work as co-owners. And Jay wants to make sure that Big Vito is going to live up to his end of the bargain and come out in the Juggalo gear, in the face paint, drinking Fago, dancing to ICP, all that stuff that they agreed to. And Vince Russo gives him his word that that's what he's going to do. He's going to ensure that that happens. And then we get to the news that back in Juggalo weekend in Miami, Florida, we crowned a new JCW World Champion. So we had a championship match between Mr. Anderson defending his title against Disco Ray. And we have Mr. Anderson defeating Disco Ray, retaining his title. But then Cocaine comes out and he's able to cash in his number one contender contract briefcase and get a win over Mr. Anderson at the opportune time. And right at the opportune time is going to keep coming up again and again in this review because there's a lot of guys on the roster right now that are somewhere between face and heel, I feel like. And I think you know who they are. A couple of guys that, you know, are willing to present as baby faces, but they're obviously opportunists. They'll take anything that comes to them. And we're going to get to one of those guys in just a second. But yeah, I'm very I don't want to say surprised, I guess, but I think it's kind of cool that JCW has its own version of the Money in the Bank contract. I know TNA has kind of ran with stealing that idea in the past. It's just a really cool, innovative concept that WWE came up with. The Money in the Bank contract, and now it feels like every wrestling promotion wants their own version of it. And for a long time, I was like, oh, why does this guy get a title shot? What happened to Cocaine? Why does this guy get a title shot? I thought Cocaine was the number one contender. And yeah, now I understand. Okay, so the briefcase is just like the Money in the Bank briefcase. Hopefully there'll be one every year. It'd be cool to see that become maybe well, it'd be cool just to see it once a year, I think, of guys going for it, and then the title title picture happening without them, and then just anytime they want to cash in. I think that could be really interesting. Cool guy, welcome to the chat. Um, then we have Cocaine being interviewed backstage. As much as he can be for a guy that doesn't talk. And we got Stephen Flo coming up uh, and saying, "Hey man, look, I'm sorry for last week. Um, I was just basically seeing an opportunity and seizing it, trying to get my foot in the door, trying to get my chance, to become big here in JCW kind of thing." And Cocaine motions towards the title. And then we get the reveal that we're going to have a title match tonight between Cocaine defending against Stephen Flo. And I gotta say, man, and this is something that they talk about in the All Access show podcast afterwards. The music in this week's JCW, chef's kiss, man. It really adds a lot to put that dramatic music into the backstage promos and stuff like that. I really like that. Let me know what you guys think about the adding of the dramatic music. Almost makes it more like a movie scene, or and then we get an awesome video package of the rivalry between Haley J and Big Al. Of course, we get that title match coming up to talk about. And yeah, what a roller coaster of a ride this rivalry has been in JCW Lunacy with Hollywood Haley J and Big Al. Hollywood Haley J has kind of been out of it for a few weeks. I know she had some kind of injury or something. We haven't seen a lot of her, and now she's back and looking better than ever. Super stoked that we got this match. Vince Russo joins the commentary for this match, which is kind of entertaining. The match is great. No complaints. It's probably the best wrestling match of the night. Is Hollywood Haley J and Big Al, I think, as far as like a pure wrestling match goes. I'm more of the sports entertainment kind of guy than the wrestling kind of guy, but I think this was an awesome wrestling match that these two put together. And then after Big Al wins it and becomes the new JCW Women's Champion, we have that handshake at the end where Big Al extends the hand. Haley J looks like she's gonna take it at first, but then does the like psych and then goes away. Obviously kind of mad that she didn't get the win there. But it looks like we're getting so we know Big Al is face now. She's turned into a baby face and became friends with Danny Moe over the whole J-Rod rivalry thing. But now it looks like Hollywood Haley J could be turning heel, and I'm interested to see what that would look like going forward in JCW. Let me know what you guys think about Hollywood Haley J as a heel. I think her attitude, man, she works. She could be a face or a heel, I think. Big Vito is being interviewed and says he's not doing that juggalo shit. He's saying that Vince Russo screwed him last week. Being great. Another good instance of them using the music for dramatic effect, and that's going to happen throughout the show with the backstage promos. We also get PCO coming in and telling Big Vito that he quits the Luciano family. And it looks like we're gonna get some kind of match in the future between PCO and Big Vito. Big Vito says it's gonna be on his time. And then we have Jeeves. Jeeves arrives and says, let's get to work. Jeeves is gonna be a big part of this episode of JCW Lunacy. And I gotta say, Jeeves with that Jeeves Sachi is looking pretty fresh. You might have to pick me up some Jeeves Sachi with the Hatchet Man on it. Shit looks dope, man. Hi, how's it going? Hope you're enjoying the review so far. I am Pickle Rick, aka the Juggler. This is Locked into Lunacy, where I review the week's JCW Lunacy. We have the match with Shane Mercer and J Rod versus Dynamite Danny Moe and Facade. This is kind of interesting because we have the obvious big bad heel tag team, but then we have like kind of a mix of, Danny Moe's obviously the big baby face, but then Facade's really kind of a neutral type character, an opportunist like we're talking about, like the Stephen Flows, even Cocaine to some extent, Um, but it ends in. So it looks like Shane Mercer's gonna get the what's his finisher called? The assault and battery, I think, or something like assault and battery, but it's a different word. Moonsault and battery, that's what it is. It's moonsault and battery. He looks like he's gonna do that onto Danny Moe. In comes Stephen Flo with the guitar to the head of Shane Mercer, and we know their history together. And that leads to Facade being the opportunist to take the pin. And so nothing super heelish this time about Facade. But it is pointed out how these guys are taking any opportunity given to them. They're not necessarily fair players, and there's somewhat real world implication to that. Like, if wrestling's real, are you gonna abide by all the rules all the time, or are you gonna seize your moment, seize your opportunity? The only thing that goes down in the history books, as they say, is the W. Um, so I think it makes a lot of sense in this world to, and even in life, to try to get ahead by any means necessary. Now, not necessarily screwing people over, but you know what I mean. Just like going after it as hard as you can, not letting anybody get in your way. Steve says he's got a big surprise for Violent J. And he's got is somebody in the limo. And we don't know who that person is. And we got Luigi Primo coming in and talking to Big Vito, saying that he wants to work for him and become a member of the Luciano family. And Big Vito says he'll give him a chance. He's in if he wins his match tonight. Jeeves is interviewed about who's in the limo, and Jeeves basically says it's need to know right now. But what this is eventually going to end up being is the reveal that we're going to find out who's in the limo next week. Also, we have he gets interviewed and talks a little bit about Caleb Conley, saying that revenge is coming for Caleb Conley, but now is not necessarily the time. He's got some other stuff going on, but he hasn't forgotten what Caleb Conley's done to him. So Jeeves is definitely, and it looks like that whoever's in that limo is going to be Jeeves' new number one for him to serve under, I think, to be the manservant of. I don't really like. I know Jeeves isn't really that good of a wrestler, but man, I guess he's a manager. I was gonna say I like the character that he's turning into, kind of a tougher character that stands up for himself a little bit more. I think that's really cool, man. Especially like when I first started watching JCW, it seemed like him and Caleb Conley were kind of like uh, in a stereotypical homophobic thing with like where like it seemed like it was more of like the old JCW where, hey, look, this guy is gay, so he's bad, you know. Um, but I think a more like badass heel approach, a confident gay man that's like, you know, not afraid to talk his shit and kick some ass. I think that's cool, man. We need more of that representation in JCW and in wrestling as a whole. Um, so yeah. Um, oh, we get the Jeev Sachi commercial. Like I said, Jeev's got his own clothing brand, um, which looks pretty dope, honestly. And then we got the JCW Tag Team match. Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack take on the Outbreak, and the Outbreak is still hooked on that cocaine. The and they get into so that's causing all kinds of problems for them and Barnabas the Bizarre. The zombies have a coke addiction, and he makes it seem like they're clean now and everything, but we all know they're not going into it. And there's a part towards the end of the match where they try to steal the Bacardi of Too Tough to well they do steal the Bacardi of Too Tough Tony, and then they're all drunk and they can't do their finisher. So Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack finish them off, and then we get a scene later of them like puking in the bathroom and stuff like that. Um, Really a mixed bag of messages. Are drugs bad or are they good? Spoiler alert, drugs are bad. I don't do drugs myself. I'm actually 6 years sober from alcohol abuse. So I don't condone the title of this episode and all the times I'm going to be saying cocaine. I actually don't condone anybody do cocaine, even though I think it's a cool concept for a wrestler. Um, I definitely am not supporting drug use. Talking to you, YouTube algorithm. I am not doing that. I am definitely 100% for real, guys. Not doing that. And then we get a backstage interview with the Monster Corpse, and they're just like basically talking it up and being scary, but they don't actually do anything this time. They just have the one little promo where they look intimidating. The next part, we got Russo talking to Caleb Conley backstage about how he's not quite ready yet. I don't know, man. I kind of agree with Caleb Conley that he is ready because I've seen Caleb Conley just be on fire in this JCW last couple of shows. You know what I mean? Caleb Conley has been absolutely dominant. It looks good, and that continues. He continues to look good in this JCW, which we'll get to in a little bit. While they're talking about that, we get the return to JCW Lunacy proper of Kerry Morton. It's like, what's his name? Kerry Morton, man. I love this guy. The Riz God. I'm so glad to see him back on JCW proper. Last time we seen him was a couple of weeks ago, I believe, on JCW Lunacy Panic Zone, which wasn't a proper episode of JCW Lunacy, but it was like a rare live in between kind of show, which was really cool. It was cool to see him back on that. But I'm really excited to see him come back in Lunacy proper. And he was talking about how he's like beat everybody in Japan and how he's the best in Japan and everything like that. But we all know he's full of shit. And then Mickey Knuckles comes in and she's mad that she doesn't have a match. She's not on the show at all. And Vince Russo's like, you did some time in Japan, right? And she's like, yeah, I wrestled a lot in Japan for years. And he's like, well, Kerry Morton thinks he's the best wrestler in Japan, so I think next week we're gonna have a match between Kerry Morton and Mickey Knuckles. It actually, to me, it looked like this match was gonna happen this week. I don't know if they ran out of time or did they actually say that it's gonna take place next week. But regardless, I think this match is gonna take place next week. Pretty entertaining. Um, I'll be rooting for Kerry Morton because that's my guy, but I think Mickey Knuckles will probably win that one. Unless he cheats or something, but she's a badass. Mickey Knuckles is not to be messed with. And we got the Brothers of Funstruction helping. I missed a part here where Russo's talking to Vito about his uncle and how he has to keep up his end of the bargain and everything. But the Brothers of Funstruction help Vito get into the Juggalo gear and all that stuff. They force him to. They're like, hey, we're gangsters back in the day. We're just dressing as clowns, so we can kick your ass pretty much if that's what we need to do to get you to put on this hat and put on this shirt. Might I say that Big Pow Boom jersey that Big Vito has, super sick. I would love to have that jersey. I know it's about $90, just like all the cool jerseys. So definitely have to get one of those jerseys one of these days. Being so expensive, being on low income, it's kind of hard. You know how the scrubby struggle of a juggalo can be, I'm sure. Then we got Luigi Primo going into his match, and it's against PCO, so of course it's squash. Like PCO, I understand he's got to have the squash matches every now and then to kind of look like, kind of keep up that he's like this big monster, and he is, dude. Like, he don't get me wrong, PCO is definitely this big monster that nobody's gonna want to mess with in real life, inside or outside of the ring. But I do think that squash matches are not necessarily entertaining as so much as PCO fighting somebody that'll give him a challenge, like a Big Vito or a member of the Monster Corp, or just somebody his own size. Of course, Too Tough Tony was able to give him a run for the money when he beat him and Mickey Knuckles for those titles. So, yeah, I think it's better, more entertaining when PCO is facing a worthy opponent more than a jobber. I mean, everybody. I don't want to say everybody squashes Luigi Primo, but everybody wins against him. Then we got Mac Davis is the announcer. He tries to get some answers from Jeeves again, but we just learned that we're gonna hear it next week. Who's in the limo? Then we got more of the Father Bronson and the Green Phantom promos, and man, those things are good. The Green Phantom promos and the Father Bronson. But I'm tired of those fresh ass promos. Hey, how's it going? I want to see these guys come to the ring. I want to see these guys in JCW. We get it. We get what they're about. I just want to see them make their debuts. Do you hear about Crudes? I'm not sure what that's referring to. But yeah, I want to see Green Phantom and Father Bronson get in there in the JCW ring. Yeah, I would like to see. I can't wait for them to make their debut. No more of these fresh promos, please. Just bring these guys in. Then we get the JCW title match between Cocaine and Stephen Flo. Um, um, we have a pretty good matchup between them. And then we have Shane Mercer coming out to the ring to try to go after Stephen Flo and revenge for what happened in their tag match. And then Cocaine's like facing him and trying to get him out of the ring with the ref. All of a sudden, um, all of a sudden, Stephen Flo takes the opportunity to pin, or not pin, sorry. He takes the opportunity to try to get the pin on Cocaine, but Cocaine ends up winning. There's no stopping him when he's fueled up on his stuff. Yeah, and then we get Vito as a Juggalo. He comes to the ring in the hat, in the fresh jersey, in face paint, and with the Brothers of Funstruction at his side. Um, Violent J is absolutely loving this. He sprays some Faygo cream soda at him. They talk their shit between the two of them. How Vito hates juggalos and all that stuff. And when Jay sprays the Faygo in his face, and then Vito will start to gulp the Faygo, and then he spits it in Violent J's face. And then it looks like the Brothers of Funstruction are about to go after him. But then Violent J is like, no, I can handle this. You guys go to the back. Right as Violent J is about to say something, the lights cut out. And when they come back on, well, we know who's going to come in because we hear the music of Vampiro. And when the lights come back on, it's Vampiro. He attacks Vito. And we see him do like a clothesline over the ropes on Vito, but there's like a weird cut off block that like blocks the screen for a second when he does that. So I wonder if they like botched that or something. It didn't work. But yeah, man, that was JCW 78. Got a lot of thoughts on this. I'm super glad that we finally get Cocaine as JCW World Champion. Makes a lot of sense. I hear like every time somebody's talking about JCW on a podcast or a show or something, Cocaine is always brought up. He's such an over crowd favorite, and he's a regular on JCW. Um, I kind of had my suspicions about Mr. Anderson, about the scheduling thing, and it was confirmed on the backstage access show. Afterwards, they had Violent J on there. It was Mac Davis and another guy, and one of the guys that's always on with Vince Russo on his Russo's Brand podcast. And Jay was talking about how Mr. Anderson's schedule wasn't quite lining up with what they wanted to do, so he was like not always available to be there. And so that caused a lot of frustrations with him supposedly being the champion and stuff like that. Um, yeah, they've had bad luck with putting the strap on some of these bigger indie names and not their like household names in JCW. Of course, before that we had the Matt Cardona, and then immediately after he wins the JCW World Title, he just goes to WWE again. So I'm glad that we finally have a JCW guy with the JCW title again. A guy that we know that can be there every week. It's a crowd favorite. So hopefully, hopefully we can get a great JCW title run out of this guy. Hope he's keeps the title for a long time. Hopes his matches defending it are entertaining. Trying to think if I have any other thoughts on anything. I am in talks right now. There's not much talking going on, but I am in, we'll say, pre-talks. I have introduced myself to the House of Grim podcast. I mean, the House of Grim podcast already follow me. They've already talked to me in their comments and stuff like that. But I recently got to talk with one of the guys over on Facebook Messenger about the potential of possibly getting an interview or some kind of collaboration between Locked into Lunacy and House of Grim podcast. I would really like to see that happen because they are slightly bigger than me. They should be a lot bigger than they are. They should be big stars on YouTube on this platform with like how good their production is, how good their shows are. Their obviously their interviews with like the actual JCW wrestlers. Man, I'm a big fan of the House of Griffin podcast over here. I think it would be cool if they kind of interviewed me on like what Locked into Lunacy is about, how I got here, maybe my like TikTok hobby slash career that I've got going on. Yeah, and I think it would be cool if they would co-host Locked into Lunacy with me sometime. But for right now, that's all just a pipe dream until we get talks going and actually figure something out. So I've already purchased my month subscription to Triller TV Plus. And that's what you guys need to do if you want to watch JCW Stranglemania and you don't have a ticket to see it in Las Vegas. You can see it over on Triller TV Plus. It's just $8 a month. All you got to do, download the app on your TV or your device, your phone, your tablet, whatever, and then find JCW Stranglemania, and it'll take you to a link for Triller TV Plus. All you got to do is put in your credit card and address information and stuff like that, and then I was pretty easy. I was able to do it in like a minute or two, and now I'm definitely going to be seeing JCW Stranglemania. So next week, Locked into Lunacy, it's going to be a regular week of Locked into Lunacy because I think Stranglemania, it said that it's going to be going live at like 2 a.m. So I'm definitely not going to be up watching that at 2 a.m. I have work the next day, so I'll catch it the next day. So next week, Locked into Lunacy is going to be a normal episode, but the following week after that, I'll have 3 different reviews for you on one episode. I'll have my Stranglemania review. I'll have watched WrestleMania, WWE WrestleMania review. I'll compare Stranglemania and WrestleMania, both taking place in Las Vegas. See which one had the better show. I am biased for JCW, but we'll see. I'll try to be as fair as I can and talk about the pros and cons of each show. I'll also have a third review for you. That'll be that episode's Lunacy that would have dropped the day before that. So next week, regular episode. The week after that, I'll have 3 different reviews: Stranglemania, WrestleMania, and JCW Lunacy. So I'm pretty excited about that. While I was on the Triller app, I saw that there's even more wrestling companies. Everybody wants to have their pay-per-view, their big show in Las Vegas the same week or around the same time that WrestleMania is doing it. So WrestleMania is definitely not the only game in that town. So hell yeah, Vegas is gonna be full. If you could afford a trip to Vegas, I mean, you could potentially watch a few wrestling shows. Uh, I don't think you can. You could probably. I think that's really in response to WWE's high ticket prices. I haven't checked them out, but I heard WWE's ticket prices are like ridiculously high. So a lot of people might be in Las Vegas, not be able to afford a ticket to WrestleMania, but they might be able to go to Stranglemania, or they might be able to go to another one of these indie companies that have their big show in Vegas as well. It's just where everybody wants to have their wrestling show, apparently, all at around the same time. So hell yeah, I'd be really interested to see what you guys think of this week's JCW. Um, what do you want to happen in JCW Lunacy? What are you happy that they're doing? What are you not so happy about that you hope they change? I want to hear everybody's opinion on JCW Lunacy. Keep the love going for them. Um, if I can, I might send this YouTube video, if I can, to the email of JCW Lunacy, because I think they were saying something on their show about send in your footage of you talking about JCW Lunacy, or something like that. So I might do that, and if I can, and I might just send every episode of Locked Into Lunacy from this point forward to that email address, because I'm gonna keep getting better. Eventually, this production will happen on this to where it's a little bit more professional sounding and looking. Eventually, I'm gonna get a computer. Um, right now, I'm just doing this all off my phone. With little to no help, I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But I got big dreams, big aspirations for this stuff. Um, I'm willing to grow and I'm willing to go. So whoop whoop, y'all. Hope you have an awesome night and an awesome weekend. And I will see you next week. Much clown love.